So this is the point I'm actually going to go to the blog, go into Docs, and look at the instructions for add 3 images and see what it says. So I'm going to be adding 3 images as figure elements with figure captions. And I've tried to be very careful about archiving my images and making sure that if I mistakenly overwrite an original, I've got somewhere else to go and find those originals at the original size. And I've gotten the starter code from project 2 and put that into project 3. And I'm still in the summary, but it says I'm going to take 3 photos, resize them, which I did in a previous video, and then I'm going to add those to my project. So at completion, I'm going to have a new README file, which I have, so I've done that. 3 properly sized and named JPEG files in the images folder. A corrected link to download the proper font files, which is listed in the instructions, and correctly edited and validated index.html and styles.css. All right, so if I keep going, scrolling through, I start looking at the instructions. I've completed the clone of Project 2 and Project 3. I copied Project 2 files into Project 3, and I removed the P2 folder, noting that it's super important because this keeps both me and my code editor from getting confused. When I remove those folders, I actually remove the .git, which is inside of them, and that keeps the VS Code from picking up the wrong repo and trying to do something with an older repo. And as we see here, I edited the README file and made it Project 3 and committed and pushed that all up to my Project 3 repo. And then I created a Netlify site and deployed my P3 repo to that, making sure that I changed the name using our class name convention. And I've also kept the browser tab open so that I can check, excuse me, check the repo and check the deploy every time I make changes and I make a push. So I'm in very good shape here. I've got my files, my resize files, which is step 6. I decided to resize them first, so I have them. I made sure that they have a width of 320 pixels. And we go in here. This preview area in the Mac Finder is really great because it will actually show us, it will actually list the dimensions. And it's the first, it doesn't really say here, but the first number under dimensions is our width. So if I just click on these originals, they all started at 1920. And the resized ones should all be now 320. And because of this aspect ratio, the width is always larger than the height. And since I'm using images with the exact same aspect ratio on all of them, I get the same height of 212. So I'm just going to leave that Finder window open. Let me close that. And a good way of doing this is to have more than one Finder window or more than one File Explorer window. I'm going to open up my P3, open up my images, and I can do this one of two ways. I can just, grab the three of them. That's kind of cool. The way that does that there. I can drag them over, which is fine. That's a move. And here's a little trick for you. If I hold down the Option key, I get a little plus sign on a Mac, and what that does is copy them. So without the plus, it's going to do a move, and with the plus, it's going to do a copy. So here I go. I'm going to copy them over. I prefer to copy them because if anything happens, I still have the resized files over here, and I can always copy them again. So I can go ahead and close that, and go ahead and close this. Bring up VS Code. You'll notice that the images folder has gone green, implying that I have new files, and sure enough, there are my 3 files. The names look very good, all lowercase, no spaces, with a -320W at the end of that part. All this is lowercase, JPG. So these are good file names. All right. So let's see where I am on these instructions. I've checked simple, lowercase, no spaces. Includes -320W at the end of the file name, but before the .jpeg file extension. And I'm a stickler for this. All letters in the file name should be lowercase. On a Windows machine, it can trick you into thinking that it's lowercase. You have to make sure that it's lowercase. This can cause real problems when you move files from one kind of computer to the other, and especially when you deploy them to Netlify. If they've got the wrong case with the letters, you may not have your images shown correctly or shown at all. Okay, so I've tried to be as careful as I can with these images, and I've copied the resized pictures in the images folder. So I've gone through step 9. So I think I'll stop this video, and the next one I start up, I'm at this point adding the images to your markup.